I know what lurks in the hearts of men.
I hope you enjoyed that little intro, so let's get right into Aatrox. This is how I'd class him: as an AD bruiser, an off tank, and he's got the potential to be an assassin if you build him full AD. So let's take a look at the positives of Aatrox. He's got high damage, amazing passive, and can shut down the enemy jungler with ease because he's so strong in the early game. Some negatives to Aatrox is his lack of burst. He can, at the end game, he can't really burst an opponent down. He's very gold reliant and he's not naturally tanky, so you have to build tanky if you want to be able to front line. Let's get straight into it and let's take a look at Aatrox's abilities. This is for the people who are not familiar with Aatrox and just need a quick champion overview. Aatrox is passive, Bloodwell. This is one of the most appealing utilities to Aatrox as it gives him a lot of early game potential to make great plays. Upon fatal damage, Aatrox becomes invulnerable and untargetable. For tower dives, this is amazing. This passive is similar to Anivia Egg or Zac passive. Q, Dark Flight. This is an AoE jump that allows you to engage or escape your enemies. If you hit an enemy within the inner circle, they are knocked up for 1 second, but if they are only hit by the outer circle, then they are merely slowed. This ability is the Aatrox gap closer. If you're smart about it, you can use this to make some clever ganks. Aatrox's W, Blood First and Blood Price. This is a toggle. Every third attack gives you a lifesteal bonus on Blood First. Blood First is an amazing sustainability which allows Aatrox to constantly gank lanes and then go back and heal up straight away without having to base. Aatrox's Blood Price ability, the other toggle, this is used for a bonus attack damage every third strike. This is great if you're maxing W because you do a lethal damage every time you gank a lane. Aatrox's E, Blades of Torment. This is one of the hardest abilities to use on Aatrox, but is the most effective. It slows by 40% every time you land it, but it is quite hard to land actually because, as you can see, the E arrows in towards the end, so it becomes narrower. Aatrox's ultimate, Massacre. Massacre is an active ability. When originally activated, it deals AoE magic damage to those around him. It also gives him increased range and his auto attacks and increased attack speed and increased movement speed. This combined with Blood Price, it does so much damage, it's unreal. If you want to know the cooldowns and more information about the abilities, either pause it on each slide or just click the link in the description to go to the Wikipedia page. This will have all you need to know really. This is just a quick overview and I'll go into more depth about how to use them all later on in the video. Let's take a look at what abilities I would max. I would max W first because it's got so much sustain in the jungle and it gives you that bonus AD for when you gank a lane to make the potential of getting a kill a lot higher. E second because it's an AoE wave clear and it's a great slow, and every time you level it up you get a higher slow ratio, so it keeps going up and up and up. Then I'd max Q third because it's your engage, like your gap closer, so I believe it's minimalistic to have. I mean, with this guys, you need to mess around with it to find what you like first, like that's very important. This is just a rough guide to go against. So you have to try and figure out what works for you basically. Like if you get what works for you, and it works better than that, please go ahead and do it. Right, we'll quickly just razz through the summoners. Summoner spells, I'd advise Flash and Smite, but you could try Ghost. Ghost I could see being pretty good. I haven't actually tried this one out myself yet, so be sure to give it a go. I mean, you might like it, you might have a preference, but I'd advise Flash Smite. So before we jump right into the gameplay and jungle routes, let's take a look at our runes and masteries. I'd advise going just normal flat AD, just 15 physical, 15 armour, 23 magic resist per level. Or you could, if you want to be really safe, you could run AD lifesteals instead. This would be pretty helpful if you're just not that comfortable with it, but some people don't have them. So let's go through the masteries. For the masteries, I'd probably advise going 21, 9, 0, taking all full AD down the left hand side, and then just 3 armour and 1 magic resist. Right then guys, let's get through the starting items. Personally myself, I'd definitely advise Doran's Blade. This is unreal on Aatrox because if you W lifesteal passive, you got pretty much unlimited sustain through the jungle. But if you're not quite comfortable with it and you want to try something new, or you just want to go back to what you know, you can always go Hunter's Machete. It's safer, but it does leave you at a disadvantage in the early game. I mean, one of Aatrox's best peaks is that he can control early game really well, so I'd definitely go Doran's Blade. Right then guys, let's get into some jungle routes. The first option that I'm going for is the counter ganks, and this is the most preferred option, but it does take a bit of theory crafting to a bit of knowledge about the enemy jungler. So as you can see, we've got Aatrox starting off, and now on the screen we've got both the blue option and the red option. And we're going to use aphroomoo as the enemy jungler, and as you can see, aphroomoo will always probably go to his blue because he's really mana reliant and really bad early game, so he needs to spam his abilities. Now on Aatrox, I'm going to mirror this by going to my red and trying to just, when he moves from buff to buff, I'll move from buff to buff. And I'll have a faster clear time because I'm a stronger jungler in the early game. So we'll go, as you can see, we'll both move at the same time to our other buffs. And when we're both at our other buffs, we'll both hit level 3 from them. This is according if you obviously no one gets XP stole or anything like that, which can really put the jungler behind. And both junglers are most likely going to get smartlesses because that's what the thing is now, and it is really beneficial to any jungler. So we'll have a look at aphroomuu's potential options from here. He can either go top lane and try and gank, or he can go mid lane. And now we can counter gank this by going top lane as well, which we're going to be there fast at, or we can go mid lane and try and wait for him. Now none of this is guaranteed, but it's most likely. And now we've got our teammates are a Renekton top and a Rise mid. Now the Renekton is going to be a lot harder to gank because Renekton has an E, double dash, and he's stun, and he obviously is flash, so we'll remove him from the equation. So this means that aphroomoo is probably going to go mid, and so we'll go mid using this information, and then we'll get there first, and then aphroomoo comes along, bang, we jump into the brush, we CC him, Rise comes over, probably first blood there. So if you can use this for any kind of scenario, this will really help you. This is a general jungle tip, but this is because Aatrox is so strong early, this will really help you. And if you can use this in different scenarios, you'll be able to master Aatrox very quickly. To pull off moves like this is very important for any jungler in any option really, but especially in something like this, you want to make sure you communicate what you're going to do and how it's going to go down with your laners. Like, if, for example, I would have told Rise what was going to happen in this. Obviously, it might not have happened, but he's got to be prepared for the eventuality. So, remember that, and so we'll go on to option 2 now. Right then, guys, let's get into option B. This is the second option. And so, as you see, this time we're going to start at blue, and aphroomoo is going to start at his blue. This isn't mirrored now. This is just like he's doing what he needs to do, and then we're doing what we need to do. But this time we are looking to go to his buff when he tries to get there. So we want to get there to his red faster than he gets there. But with this comes obviously risk because you could die, because you could get collapsed on from all lanes. I'll tell you how to get rid of that. But yeah, these are the 3 routes that I'd take to get there, and especially with Aatrox, you've got his Q, his Dark Flight, to jump over the wall and use it as a gap closer. This eliminates a lot of time wasted. And then yeah, as you can see, they'll meet up at his red buff, and you can either just steal it or you can just take it. And what you want to do is get your mid laner. If you're doing this in rank 5s, or you've got a really duo partner in mid lane or so, you want to get them to push their lanes. So this forces the enemy team, if they want to collapse and potentially get a kill, which isn't guaranteed, or they want to take guaranteed farm under the turret. Because if your solo laner shove them to the towers, then they've got to make the decision if they want to lose farm or lose a player, the jungler, and a lot of impact on the game. Okay, so we'll look at another option now. I wouldn't really call this an actual option, but this is something that you could do. I mean, this is in a rank 5 game where we're messing about with some random team comp, but yeah, so we go to their red buff when we find them, so we just place a deep ward so we know if they're coming around to the blue buff. And then we end up all then going to their blue buff and just trying to steal that. But they get knowledge of it because Cho'Gath comes over and Q's with his CC, and as you can see, my actual quick step, I'll step out of it there. But yeah, we take the blue buff, and well, I take the blue buff and the smite it because my laners had to go to lanes, and then I take one of the little minions because you take the main buff and then the little minion, you get level 2 because the little minions are worth a lot of XP now. And then you see me rush over to my blue. I made a mistake here. I should have just gone straight, like the most direct route, but I didn't want to give my position away because of Kennen. And then Kennen comes anyway, and then we end up getting a few summoners. So yeah, enforcing early things like that can really catch people off guard. Right then, guys, so I'm actually in game now, as you can see, walking around. I'm doing this commentary like real time. So I just want to show you quickly how you should gank a lane, like the combo for it. So obviously you either use your Q. It depends where the laner is. So if the laner's all the way up here, then you're probably going to use your Q. I mean, that isn't an ideal place to gank, and then use your E. and then toggle your W and then get some auto attacks off. I mean that most likely won't end up in a kill, but it'll end up, that's the most how to get the most damage out. Now if the lane is pushed up here, and obviously I'm on the blue side, so if the lane is pushed up here against you, she's obviously in an easy place to gank, so I'd want to walk up and then she'd probably try and flash away, so I'd say she's our blue minion here. I'd probably E, as you can see, that would get the slowdown, Q, W, and then that will give my lane a time to react as well. So yeah, that's how you want to use this combo. You want to use either EQW or QEW. And now I'm just going to show you some cool spaces to jump with his Q. As you can see, like you can get over walls. This is pretty, like, this is the same premises as other junglers, but some people may not know. So obviously you can jump over this wall. You can jump over the red wall to get to bus faster. This wall. It's just a useful little thing to get around, but the most important thing, well, this is a good one actually that a lot of people don't know. You jump into this brush here, and it's very rare that people can actually see you get in there. I mean, they can see you for a split second if it's maybe wooded there, but who knows? Depends what elo you're at. Obviously these are the same for both sides because the map's a mirrored map. You can go from their tri brush to this, and that's a cheeky gank. And so if this brush isn't warded and you've got up here without them knowing, you can get into this brush and they won't know you're here, and so they might push up with a false sense of security thinking you're not here. This maybe requires you to be patient, but eventually they won't realise you're there most likely, and then you can just walk in. And so say they're here, cover them down, get some summoners and all that. And obviously if you're after 6, you want to gank with your ultimate when you're landing with your Q. So this would be, I'll just do it here. You want to go Q, E, R, W. So on your first back, I definitely advise getting some boots, another Doran's blade because it gives you 80 extra health and it will really help. And I'd advise getting a sight ward. Now a sight ward is extremely important for any time you can grab one. I mean, you might not have the goal to grab one all the time, as you know, but when it just gives everyone vision, and even for yourself, if you place a deep ward in the enemy jungle, you can get knowledge of where he is, and you can either counter gank where he's going, or you can just normally gank another lane safely with the knowledge that you know you're not going to get counter ganked straight away. So it's really, really important, and you can help your solo laners out with the jungle, knowing where the jungler's presence is. So on Aatrox, I definitely advise at least getting 1 damage item, if not more. It depends on how much gold you've got, because he's quite a gold reliant jungler. So I would either get a timer, a Blade of the Ruin King, or Bloodthirst. So personally, I'd advise going for the Blade of the Ruin King because it does help a lot, especially for ganks, because you can slow people down and you can speed up using the Blade of the Ruin King active. Well, they are all great viable options and they do a lot of damage. So get 1 or 2 of these depending on how well you're doing in the game. I mean, just try it out. I advise Blade of the Ruin King, but you might want to try something different. It's always good to try something new. So yeah. So let's take a look at some other viable options that you might need to go down considering how the game's going or whatever. So for tanky items, I definitely advise going Guardian's Angel, Randuin's Zoman, Lock at the Iron Solari, Spirit Visage, and Wit's End. I mean, these are all conditional. Obviously, you don't want to build a Randuin's Zoman if it's a full AP team, but yeah, these are some great options for Aatrox, especially Randuin's Zoman if you when you're ganking because of the slow. I mean, it probably won't be there, but like it's all conditional. I mean, if you've already got like a massive tank in your top lane, then you might not need to get more than 1 of these items, if you know what I mean. Because you don't need it. You can be a damage source instead of a front line. So for extra damage items, I would advise either a Black Cleaver, a Last Whisper, or a Zephyr. Zephyr gives you more movement speed and faster attack speed, so it fits perfectly into Aatrox's kit. But it's quite conditional, I feel, because it's still quite an expensive item. Last Whisper's for when you've got like 2 or more of the core items, so you can. You've got your armour pen and you can absolutely shred people. And Black Cleaver is good because it gives an AoE armour shred for everyone, and it's got the cooldown reduction, and it's got a slight bit of tankiness in there with the ruby crystal. Well, not tankiness, but a bit of health with the ruby crystal in there. So yeah, that's another good item. So we took an in-depth look at the early game where you want to counter jungle and as much as you can and make your impact on the enemy jungler, shut him down. But now let's look at the mid game. This is when you can start to influence the actual game and the laners themselves. So I get my slowdown here, and as you can see, she's pretty fed. She's 3 and 3, but I think I can't see here. I'm 3 and 1. I'm 3 and 1, yeah, and she itemized poorly. So I've been able to tower dive her and fucking kill her. Oh, I shouldn't have sworn, my bad. But yeah, and then here I make an absolutely vile play. When I say vile, absolutely sick. Like, I managed to lifesteal after Lissandra and dodge a gank. And now I'm going to show you Aatrox's real strength in the mid game. Obviously he's got an impact because I've got my core item. And when you get your core item, you hit your peak. But as you can see, I've just lifestealed all the way up and then go straight to bot lane. And the enemy Lissandra is still low. And then I've gone in and just straight away influenced it, and I've got pretty much a triple kill, get my kill stolen from someone I was actually duoing with. So yeah, so you can see exactly how much influence I had. Like, I got my ult back up and then I went straight to bot lane just from lifestealing. So here I'm going to give you a great example of Aatrox's passive, and again the lifesteal. So I counter jungle Aphroomo's wraiths, and then yeah, I get a bit greedy. This was a bit silly of me. I just try and dive in because I think like I get really cocky in this game because I get quite fed, and I mean I just wanted to make my influence known, and luckily I get Syndra to back me up. So I pop my ult, and then I'll just fast forward this clip. I go and lifesteal off the golems, and then gank bot lane straight after because I've had my passive and I've technically escaped death, and we just pick up a double kill here, and that's the impact he can have. Like, he can just run around and just become a monster, and you can't shut him down particularly unless you kill him. With his passive, you're at your main strength. Okay, let's have a look at this clip. Okay, so with this on, this is a bit earlier on. This time I've coordinated with my person that I was duo queuing with to just bait them in, and then I've jumped over the wall and made a straight impact. We've got the enemy team flashing away and everything because they're in a bad place now. Because now I can just shut them down with all my CC. They've got no summoner spells left, so that's also great. And as you can see here, I swag it out by jumping over the trap, just so she has no opportunity of getting away. The fiddle got away, however, but I did get his summoner spell, so I suppose that's good. To summarise, so for the mid game, you want to make your impact known across the whole map. You want to make sure people know you're there, and you want to make sure people are fearing you. You want to use your CC and your amazing damage as well as you can. So that's why I suggest mobility boots, because you can make so much of an impact in the early game. I mean, if you're not doing so well, then you might have to sacrifice some damage items for some tankier items such as Locket or something like that. Locket of the Iron Solaris, sorry. So you want to remember, if you get your passive proc, you want to play a bit more with a bit more caution, because you haven't got the same ability to just cheat death essentially. So remember, if you have your passive proc, then you're at a very much weaker point compared to what you was. So try and use that information to when you can go extremely aggressive and tower dive, and to when you should be more conservative and farm. So now we've covered the mid game, let's take a look at the late game. The late game is where Aatrox falls off a little bit, especially if he doesn't have his passive. If he has his passive, it's essentially another Guardian Angel in team fights. So you want to keep that in mind and play around with that. So depending on how you've built and how much gold you've got, you can either try and assassinate the enemy AD or the enemy AP carry, or you can try and protect yours by using your CC and your slows to help them and kill the tanks that try and attack them and zone them. So depending on how you're itemised, it might take a very long time to kill a tank. So I mean, you might just want to try and perform all the CC you can to disturb them and let your AD auto attack as freely as possible. I mean, if you've got like a Blade of Ruin King and Last Whisper, then you should be able to hit a tank up. But in some games, then it might not be ideal to go that iron build anyway. You might have to be forced to go tanky because of the lack of progress you've made with gold. Because Aatrox is very gold reliant, as I said before. So you need to have a lot of farm and a lot of assist and a lot of kills to really have an impact on the late game. You can also, instead of team fighting as Aatrox, because he's got a lot of attack speed and a lot of attack damage, you can try and split push if things aren't going well for you in team fights. Plus you've got your Q and your passive as a getaway if people start to come towards you when you're split pushing. So remember that's another option in the game, and it's always a go-to if you're getting stuck and you're getting pushed and you don't have any idea what to do. So let's just quickly finish with a quick summary. Right, these are the things you want to remember to do. Remember to abuse Aatrox's early game, make aggressive plays with his passive, his Bloodwell, and use your power spike when getting a core item. If you use these and you utilise all these, then you will do extremely well with Aatrox. And these are the things you don't want to do. You want to be careful for the late game kite, because you're an AD melee who's not the tankiest. You can easily get kited about. If you don't get too fed, don't get too much AD. I didn't touch on this really, but you don't want to go for too many items if you haven't got enough gold. Like, you can't go Blade, Bloodthirst, and Last Whisper, and you've gone like 0-5. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. And then for the last point, don't try and force objectives too much. I mean, you want to force objectives if they're safe, but if you're full AD, you're not very tanky and you lose a lot of health, and then if the enemy team come to fight, you could all lose because you're very low on health, tanking the objective. So keep that in mind. Hey there guys, what is going on? It's the MezMAYN from content here, and I hope you enjoyed watching my Aatrox jungle guide. I mean, I put a lot of effort and time into it. I mean, it is a bit long, I'm not going to lie, it's a bit long-winded, because I got so invigorated in the project and creating it that I've never done a video like this before, so it was a whole different experience for me, so I know I need to fix that up. But other than that, I mean, I hope you really enjoyed it and learned something. That's the main thing. Hope you learned how to play Aatrox jungle, or you learned something new that you didn't know before. It would really mean a lot to me now, seriously, if you could share this, like this video and share it with your friends, because I put so much effort into it over the past couple of days, and I've put everything I had into it, all my time, and so it would really be a thank you from you guys if you could like and share. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos like this, or you've got some feedback, remember to put it in the comment section below, because, you know, if you guys like this kind of thing, or you got some tips on how I could improve it, you know, I want to make this channel the best possible experience for you guys. So hope you enjoyed, and peace out.